Welcome to the MLS Fantasy Cast. This is the weekly show where I preview and review all things MLS Fantasy or FMLS. If you hear me say FMLS, that's just Fantasy MLS. Every week I will be doing a preview and review of the upcoming week in FMLS. This week, of course, we will only be doing a preview because it is the inaugural week of the season. Basically, the plan is for this to be a diary for all things fantasy MLS soccer for me and my team. My team is Pancake FC, that is named after my dog. I think she's taking a nap at the moment, but maybe in the future she will come on and co-host a little bit. But for now, the docket for today is to do this a little bit quicker, a little bit more brief than I think I will in the upcoming weeks. But we'll go through all the fixtures and just I'll point out things that catch my eye, matchups I like, do not like, and then same thing for players that I find interesting, think are a good option, and then those that I do not. And then at the end, I will make my team. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Although I guess we're already going a little bit backwards because I do already have my team made just because the game's been up for about a week now. I've been obsessing over it a lot, so you can already see it, and maybe we'll just work our way backwards or a little bit at the same time. Maybe forget the docket. We'll just do it this week by vibes. Matchup wise, obviously, Miami have the double game week. Because of that, players from Miami and the same for Salt Lake are double valuable. I think any week where there's a double game week, and especially when some players have double games and others don't, I'm going to highly prioritize those guys. It's just, double the chance at getting a return. So Miami play Salt Lake, then play Galaxy, Salt Lake play Miami, and then play St. Louis. Columbus and Atlanta is the first game aside from the season opener. For that, I'm a little bit wary of the matchup. Fantasy-wise, both teams have very good offenses. It's kind of a crapshoot to me. I wouldn't touch basically any defenders from either team, but apart from that, I just feel like it's maybe too difficult to call what's going to happen. A little bit the same for Los Angeles and Seattle. I don't think that will be near as high scoring of a game as Columbus, Atlanta, but both these teams are very good. Tough to say. Charlotte, New York. Charlotte, I think the hire of Dean Smith is a very good hire, very positive pickup for them. He actually did pretty well in England, despite losing his last three jobs at Villa, Norwich, and Leicester, I believe was the other one, in kind of dramatic fashion. But through all of that, he really knows how to coach a good defense and defensive structure. So I think Charlotte, we'll see if they add any new DPs, what they're going to look like after that. But I back them to have a decent defense. I've seen some people mention them as potential wooden spoon candidates. I don't think so. I don't think so. They're going to be better than that. At home, opening day, New York City. New York City have added a lot of really exciting young players, but new coach, a lot of new faces. It might take some time for that to kind of come together. I don't mind Charlotte against New York City because of what I've said, and Charlotte do have some of the best budget defenders in the game. DC versus New England, big time back New England. I think DC are an outside shout for wooden spoon. I think I'm a lot lower on DC than a lot of other people are. I think they're going to have a very difficult start to the season. At best, they are at the start of a rebuild. So we'll see how the season plays out for them. As far as this opening game goes, I know it's at home, but I really back New England. I think New England players are great options for this week. Orlando and Montreal, I've seen a lot of people lean very heavily in Orlando's favor. Wouldn't be so sure. Montreal have brought in a very interesting new coach, and it seems like they're going to play very progressively. I would still take Orlando in this game. Just, it's at home. Orlando should still be pretty good. They've made good additions to their team and kept a lot of what was working from last year. Pareja is a great coach. I would take Orlando, but not not in a landslide. Maybe a little bit the same thing for Philly and Chicago. Chicago have a lot of new exciting pieces. I think they'll give Philadelphia some trouble. That could be, as far as like potential upsets go, I do think it's possible that Chicago pull off a kind of out of nowhere upset. But, Philly's probably still the fair favorite. Austin, Minnesota, I'm not. Minnesota on paper should win, and they have finally brought in a new coach, an exciting new young hire. We'll see how long it takes for them to start playing cohesively with whatever his vision is. Austin, I think it's tough to be positive about this Austin FC team and the offseason they've had. Yeah, they're at home. Yeah, Minnesota are going to have to start figuring out, how they're going to play, but I don't feel very positively in this matchup about either team, but I would definitely give the edge to Minnesota. FC Dallas, San Jose, I've got a weird feeling. I've had it for the last week and a half. I can't shake it. I really think FC Dallas might be not just the victor, but I think this is a potential shock blowout. I don't know why. I can't explain it. I think I'm definitely a lot lower on San Jose than a lot of other people are, and higher on FC Dallas. I think FC Dallas could be the shock team of the year. I just have a feeling. I've just got a feeling that FC Dallas is going to make some noise and make something happen. But I don't have any data to back that up. Houston, Kansas City. I don't think there's a team in the league I'm lower on than Houston. Not one. They've had by far the worst offseason of any team. By far. I don't think anybody can compete. It's terrible. They've only lost players. And now, yesterday against St. Louis, Ferreira got hurt. I know he's been really actually very poor. A terrible DP signing. But who's going to score for Houston? Who's going to do it? Coco Carrasquilla is like the best shot they got. I don't even think Bassi's going to play in this game. I'm pretty sure he's having some kind of like green card issue or something. I really like Kansas City defenders. I'm not even that high in SKC, but I really like their defenders for this matchup. I'm really taking, until we'll see, how it plays out. But at the moment, any defenders versus Houston, it's a very alluring prospect. St. Louis and Salt Lake, I don't think St. Louis are going to be anywhere near as good as they were last year. I don't think they're going to be bad, to be fair, but we'll see how Salt Lake do against Miami before I feel like there's anything else to be said about that game. Portland, Colorado. Colorado, I think, made some excellent additions. I think they're going to be at worst a fringe playoff team, unless Chris Armas just really blows it. But I think Colorado are going to be very good this year. Portland are, to me, one of the biggest unknowns in the league. I'm not sure what Phil Neville's going to do with this team. I think they're going to be bringing in some new players soon. Who knows? But at home against Colorado, iffy. I think Colorado are just going to be a lot better. FC Cincinnati, Toronto. This is maybe the most one-sided matchup of the week. FC Cincinnati should win comfortably. I'm not sure if they'll clean, because I think Toronto, they have Bernardeschi, Insigne. If they both start, there's a good chance they'll score. And now that Barbarella is gone, FC Cincinnati is going to need to bring in a player, maybe two, if they want to be near as good as last year. I am the president of the Alvaro Barbarella fan club. I'm not going to rant, but to say that I'm disappointed that he's left the league would be a serious understatement. Cincinnati are really going to need to add in a piece or two if they want to contend for the Supporters' Shield. That is a serious loss. For this matchup, though, I don't think it changes too much. I think Cincinnati should win comfortably. Nashville and New York. Nashville at home is they were very good at home last year. That's a strong prospect. They have the same defense. Should still be a very strong defense. Offensive-wise, Sam Surridge, I think, is the biggest boom or bust player in the league. If he scores near 20 goals, I would not be surprised. If he is out of the team in 2 months, I would not be surprised. Who knows? And it's all going to rest on the shoulders of Hani Mukhtar. Is he going to be like last year and still be good, not as good? Is he going to go back to previous form? Is he going to continue to maybe even regress? Difficult to say. And I think New York Red Bulls are going to be a very dangerous team this year. I think they'll be pretty good, to be honest with you. Whether they're winning or losing, I think there will be goals. I've seen a lot of people take Nashville defenders for this matchup, Nashville players. I'm a little bit more wary of it than others, just because I think the Red Bulls will be very dangerous. The last matchup of the week is the LA Galaxy versus Inter Miami. Kind of feel the same way as Salt Lake and St. Louis until, Miami play that first game. It's tough to say a lot about it, but I do think Galaxy have made a serious amount of positive additions to their team. They should be, the only place for them to go is up, but I think they should be seriously better than last year. We'll go ahead and go on to my team, and I'll talk about the guys who I do have after I mention, some dudes who I thought about or noticed. First guy who didn't make my team, but I think is a great option, is from Montreal. That's going to be Mathieu Choinier. He is seriously undervalued at 5.5. That's crazy. I don't know why they did that. They're scandalous. They're throwing shade at him. He was their top scorer last year. 5.5, that is a steal. Absolute steal. I know they're playing Orlando, but him for that price is a decent option. Personally, I'm going to be looking to seriously build some value for my team at the beginning of the season. So a lot of my picks are geared towards that, as opposed to spending a little bit more for, a marginally better player, whatever maybe. That's just my strategy. So in terms of building value, I really like Choinier. This week. Other guys this week who are good, obviously, Amada, mentioned Mukhtar, Espinoza, you never know, Reynoso if he's healthy, Lovin are all good options. Forsberg, it'll be interesting to see how he fits into this Red Bull team. If he's playing kind of box to box, taking up a lot of defensive duties, not as sure fantasy-wise, but if he's getting a lot of touches offensively, if he's putting a lot of balls into the box, he could be a great option. Gazdag's going to be good again this year, but going back up here, I think Carlos Hill is a really good pick this week. Really good pick. My only concern is I'm not super sure who he's sending the ball into, if we're talking like him getting a bunch of assists, or I'm not sure how they're going to return, whether it be Bobby Wood or whoever else. That's the only thing. I feel like New England might be lacking somebody really good up top. What's their Argentinian player's name? I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Vrioni. We'll see how he does. We'll see how he does this year. I'm not super high on any of these guys. So that's my only concern for Carlos Hill. But, versus New England, it is a great pick. He's expensive. That's I tell you that's why he's not on my team. I had to feel like I need to allocate that budget elsewhere, but it's a great pick. Also New England, where's he at? Another possible steal. If he starts, people are saying he's going to start. We'll do this. I'll just one step at a time. Esmir Bajraktarevic. If he starts, $5 million, it could be a steal. Try and break out player of the year type stuff. If he's going to be getting that kind of minutes, could blow up. We'll see. But other midfielders, I'll just keep going through the midfielders. Acosta against Toronto, that's kind of a lock to me. Diego Gomez plays, double game week, $5.5 million for Inter Miami. You can't beat it. You cannot beat that price for that return. If he's starting, easy money. Luna, Reese, both double game weeking. I want all three Salt Lake players, all three Miami players. I just decided I'm not so as sure about Salt Lake's defense. I just want to put that in the midfield. Hopefully Luna and Reese do something as well with their minutes. I'll go on to the forwards first. So, obviously Messi, it's Messi. Well, there's just not anything else to say about it. The game automatically captained him for me. I haven't changed it, to be honest. Like, Messi as a captain, logically, makes perfect sense. My heart says Captain Ferreira, though. But for now, Messi's my captain. I talked Cincy up a lot earlier. Bupenza is going to be getting a lot more touches, responsibility, action this year. He was like one of the best goals per minute players in the league last year. $8 million against Toronto. I think that's such a good option. Other guys, we'll see what Buonga does against Seattle. I think Seattle are going to be a scary powerhouse this league. Their defense is really good, even though LAFC is at home. Kucha, if you want to say him against Atlanta, I think that's fair. If Suarez can remain healthy, he's a good option. I love Arango for RSL for this double game week. It's just by virtue of where I wanted to put my money that I didn't take him, but I think he's such a good option. I love players who it's like they're the only, fantasy-wise, that are the only guy on their team who are doing a lot offensively, or they're like the guy, even if, the team as a whole isn't as good. fantasy-wise, I always feel like that's a good thing to hedge your bet on. So I really like Orongo this week. A lot of these other guys, like Shukamakis, was so good last year. Carranza had a hat trick last night against Saprissa. He's a great pick. Not so much for this week, but I do think Dejan Shovelich could really actually surprise people this year. I'm talking about guys who are like the only option. He's like their only number 9. So we'll see how the wingers play with him, but he should get a lot of chances to score at the very least. Tamu Puki's a great option, I think, as well. Sam Surge at 7.5, not bad value at all. As far as like budget guys go, super kind of wild card fantasy pick this week. If you want to put 4.5 towards Dante Seeley, he's a wingback. If he starts 4.5, fair enough. Could be a very strange but good pick if something happens with that. But a 4.5 starter, he's categorized as forward, but if he starts, he's going to be a wingback. Could be good. And I think, I'm not sure there's anyone else in the forwards that really stuck out to me, so we can go ahead and move on to the defenders. Kai Wagner was excellent against Saprissa last night. Now that Barbarell is gone, he's like the premier wingback in the league, unfortunately, but I know he's expensive, but I feel like I gotta have him. I think he's gonna get a lot of assists this year. He's on set pieces too. He's a great option. Gressel, for the double game week. It'll be very interesting to see how he plays into this Inter Miami team. Hopefully he gets the minutes that he needs to fulfill his fantasy value, but for the double game week, I liked him a lot for that. Malanda, 4.5 million starter. I already talked up Charlotte's defense some. Such a good pick, especially for building value. Really good. And then the other defender with Malanda is, I think it's Prevet. Let's see. It's Andrew Prevet. If he starts, he's a great pick. I'm not sure if he's going to start, but if he starts, such a good option. If he ends up starting, I might go double Prevet and Malanda. This guy right here, Matai Akinboni. I definitely said that wrong, but some people have said he's going to start. If he starts, he's staying here to 4 million starter on defense. That's great. If there's anybody when the lineups come out and it's like a 4 million defender starting, they're going to take that spot. Because as for like Prevet, or even there's actually one guy I also forgot on FC Dallas. Some people are saying that Sam Junqua is going to start. If he starts, that's also a good option, 4.5. I would probably take him over Prevet, but I would probably take Malanda over Junqua. But I don't have the 0.5 to take somebody over Akinboni. That's why he's in there. And I don't want a second scrub player because I want Gayese on my bench to build value, right? So hopefully a 4 million defender starts. I kind of need that to happen for my team's budget. If not, I'm in a weird spot. I'll take McMath at goalkeeper. Just I decided I didn't want to play keeper roulette this week for the opening week. He's gonna play both games. If he plays 2 mid to even slightly below average games, he'll still return. And I wanted to get enough money to also have a starting goalie on my bench just so they would build value. Gayesa should be 6.5. Don't know why he's not. So he's the one sitting there. Would it make more sense to have the second goalie or basically have like a scrub keeper, 4 million valued keeper, and then put that money into a different player instead of trying to build value with the keeper? Maybe, probably, but this is just kind of how I have it set up. I don't necessarily want to change it. Right now, I am scrubbing a midfielder. Not usually a very good idea, but this is just kind of how it turned out. It's just kind of how it is, and I think I'm just going to leave it there. Other defenders, too, I know, I really think John Tolkien could be awesome this year. I've seen a lot of people take Zimmerman. I think he's a little bit overpriced at 6.5, to be honest. Shaq Moore is 6 million. I think that's a great option. Hollingshead at 6, pretty good. Want to take him versus Seattle, but still a good value. Any of these RSL guys are good value. 6.5 too. Alba's up here. I missed him earlier. Alba's a greit pick too, especially if he stays healthy. Could be a very, very good option. I'm going to go ahead and toss Boo Penza, if I can find him, back in here. And then the last player I'm going to talk about is the last defender I'm tossing in here. Jake Davis is definitely undervalued at 5 million. Like I said earlier, I just don't know who's going to score for Houston. Who's going to do it? Until somebody scores a goal for Houston, I'm going to assume it's not going to happen. So I really like Jake Davis as a starting defender for me this week at 5 million. Always save your team, by the way. Don't forget to save your team. Always click save. He's undervalued at 5 million. If he can get like an assist or do anything going forward, that would be awesome. But I think his value should go up for sure. And I just think he's a good option. Good option all around. I've got Bupenza in over Fedetta just because of the game time goes a little bit earlier. If I changed my mind and kept in Frere, then obviously they're swapping back out. But the only real gamble I feel like I'm taking this week is the 4 million defender on my bench. If he's not starting, I need a 4 million defender to come along and end up starting. If not, I could have maybe misused some of my money. We'll just have to see. We'll have to see how it plays out. But that is going to be it for this week of the MLS Fantasy Cast. Thank you so much for listening or watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to... Please feel, it's definitely time to stop. Definitely time to stop. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to like or subscribe, and thanks for watching.